My therapist again told me to start dreaming with intent.
You know what? No offense to your therapist. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
I knew you'd fucking...
Jesus
I knew
Christ.
you'd hate that.
Hello, my little bear cubs, and welcome back to another episode of Secondhand Therapy. We need to remind you that we are not therapists. We are not experts.
That's right.
This is not a substitute for therapy. This is not professional advice.
No.
Thank you for being here. If you would like to support the podcast, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/secondhandtherapypod. We have merch available at secondhandtherapypod.com. Again, we'd love your support. If you want to support us, those are two great ways to do it. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, subscribe on YouTube, add us on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to things. Okay?
Fucking nailed it, bud.
I'm trying to get through the intros a little quicker.
All right, is that well? You're doing it.
Yeah, look who slowed it down, right? Because now we're in a combo.
Change the attitude.
Okay. Okay, so I'm back in Tucson with my family.
Yeah.
Right. And I had this weird moment because I love multiple truths.
Right.
I love my family very much. They are a bunch of unhealed people.
Okay, I thought you were going to use another adverb there. Okay, good.
They are a bunch of unhealed people who are not interested in therapy or getting better because they don't think there's anything wrong. So I am in this place of, I don't know that I consciously made this decision, but I've decided that like it ends with me. I'm not carrying this shit anymore. The anger, the not trusting anybody, the whatever, all the generational trauma. Like I'm healing. It stops here. However, I'm also getting a vasectomy.
I was just going to say, like.
However, my sister has a 4-year-old.
Okay.
So.
Kidnap the baby.
No.
Oh.
I love her very much. No, multiple truths. I love her very much. I want to keep her.
Right.
Now, it's a weird thing to be sitting there being like, oh, I'm done with this. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. I've done it long enough. But then I go home and I watch my family be who they are. And it's a very helpless feeling because they don't think there's a problem.
Have you talked to them about this, or are you just assuming that they don't think there's a problem?
No, they don't think there's a problem. I've talked to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've asked. Yeah. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
But obviously they know that you're in therapy. Have they expressed anything about being like, why are you doing that? Or what's the point? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was unaware of that.
Yeah, they both are just like, why would you do that? I'm like, oh, because I'm unwell. That's why. And my sister gets it. Mm-hmm. Like, she grew up super angsty. She's an anxiety case now. She's done therapy, I think, a handful of times. But she's just like, yeah, they're just telling you things you already know.
Oh, she's one of those.
Yeah. Okay. She's like, if I were to sit and think about it, like, I'll get to the same place. I'm like, but you're not.
But you're also
but
not
hey, guess
sitting
what?
there.
You didn't get there. You're going to look good. You're downloading all your shit right onto her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, and my mom is just like, she's like, oh, therapy where they blame the mother for everything.
So she watches the show.
And I was like, she's always thought that about therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so go in there and talk shit about grandma. Like, do it.
Yeah.
She's like, no. She's like, nothing is wrong. I'm fine. I'm like, you're on heart pressure medication because you're so stressed out, right? You're not fine. You can't have 2 days off work because you don't know how to live without work.
Yeah.
You're not fine. I did tell my mom that I talked about her in therapy, though. The Mother Nurture episode, I was like, I did talk about you in therapy. And she goes, oh, to be a fly on the wall of your therapy sessions.
No.
And then my girl goes, you could just listen to the podcast. And my mom goes, I would never. I will never listen to that. And I was like, Ma, I'm not trashing you in therapy. I'm just working through things.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can listen to the podcast. I don't care. She's like, oh, no, I don't need that. I was like, okay.
So I know your relationship with your mother was strained when you were younger, right? It was very like...
No, it wasn't strained.
Well, you felt like you couldn't...
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until now.
Okay, so what was the communication like between you guys?
Growing up?
Yeah.
Like, at what stage? Like teenage?
Yeah, let's do like... Let's start with 6 to 12.
6 to 12. Okay, so that's like middle school?
Yeah.
Or late elementary school, middle school? I guess I don't want to say as needed,
right?
But it was like check-ins to like make sure what needed to be done was done. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. To my recollection, I think was the majority of it.
You don't view that as strained at all?
Yeah, now I do.
Yeah.
But like growing up, that was just...
Yeah. Well, I just mentioned strained, and you were like, it wasn't strained.
Oh, at the time, I didn't know it was strained.
Right.
I'm just now learning that, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, the communication styles I had, the emotional caretaking that was not there. Like, I'm just now learning about these things.
What I'm getting to is trying to figure out that communication style now, because she's so adverse to listening to the podcast because it is so personal to you. My mother would be all about it. My mother would listen to fucking every episode. She would post about it. She would like tell my mother would be very invested in whatever the fuck I'm doing.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If your mom was listening to the podcast, would you be as honest about her as you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you think she'd keep listening?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. She would always keep listening. And two, I would say these things as I'm learning or as I'm going. I would say these things to her. I would have these conversations with her. We had a very, very close relationship.
Yeah.
We talked about fucking everything. So it's interesting to me that your mother is so uninvested, and just the idea of even hearing your personal life or you unpacking these emotional things is something that she's like, nope, fuck that.
So it's not that she's, I don't know the word, uninvested. Mm-hmm. She's protecting herself.
Okay.
I think she just can't bear to hear the things I have to say. She thinks I'm going to be basically talking about what a terrible mother she is.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand the multiple truths. She doesn't understand that I'm like, oh, she was truly doing her best, and at the same time, I deserved way better.
Yeah.
She doesn't get that. A little black and white the woman is.
So you know? I can't imagine.
Weird.
Can't imagine.
Yeah.
So a follow-up then.
Uh-huh.
She is still around. So do you have plans to have these conversations with her at some point about childhood and trauma and these things?
I asked her if she wanted to, and she kind of, I don't want to say she skirted it, but we could never get on the same page of what the conversation was. I think she is so defensive when it comes to these things that she was being deflective without realizing it.
Mm-hmm. She feels like she's going to be in trouble.
I don't know. I don't know that she has people pleaser tendencies. I think, I don't know how she feels.
Yeah.
Just my impression, is that she was becoming deflective. I wouldn't even say defensive. I think it was more deflective without realizing it. But the morning we were leaving, I wasn't going to see her because she had to go to work early. But the night before, I gave her a hug and, say goodbye and all that. And she said, the next time you're here, we need to sit down and have a talk. And I was like, okay, not a problem.
See you Christmas.
I was like, we can do it. So I think she wants to. She wants to have the conversation. I don't think she knows how. And I don't know what the conversation is going to be for her. I don't know if she's going into it wanting to understand my experience and what I have to say, or if she's going to go into it wanting to make herself feel better.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, earlier when I mentioned like that she feels like she's going to be in trouble, I didn't mean it in a people-pleasing way. I meant it more in like an accountability way. Like, oh, you're just here to like yell at me or tell me how bad I did, kind of thing. And maybe she's not. That's why she's deflecting and being like, oh, I don't want to hear any of that. Like,
maybe, I don't know.
Maybe she feels like, hey, I got you here. Just be happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I'm sure everything we have said, there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
So many truths floating around.
It's got to be hard.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
But so we'll see if that conversation happens or not. It'll be an interesting one.
Have you tried to... I know you said you've mentioned therapy to them, but like... Have you tried to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bring them.
Not interested.
Yeah, really. That's so interesting. Well,
you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You try. Try with your family.
My aunt told me that she went to therapy once.
How'd that go for
her? She said that she spent the whole time talking, out loud about all her problems, and the woman just sat there and said, okay, And then she told the lady at the end of it, she said, if I could sit at home and talk out loud about my problems and save my money.
Yeah, so that's called intake.
Yeah.
It's called an intake session.
So that is the, trope of therapy that gets caught up in, I think, the generation before us.
Yeah, I do think that's what therapy used to be, though.
Yeah, when you see it displayed in those kind of older movies and things, it is just somebody being like,
Yeah, and oftentimes, like, the therapist is, like, with their back to you. Yeah. It's just, like, Freudian, like, you're just talking into a void, and they're just listening, like, they're not even looking at you. Or you're looking away from it. It's a weird, like, disconnected. Whatever, dude.
A lot of shame. I think therapy gets associated with a lot of shame.
It's shameful to go to therapy?
Yeah. It's almost like confession. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go because you're fucked up, so you got to go.
Yeah, I could see that.
And it's like, no, everybody should go.
Yeah.
Every fucking body should go.
Yeah. Yeah. My girl and I started going to couples therapy. I know you know that. I haven't shared it with the Bear Cubs.
I know. I was waiting for you to bring it
up. And I got to
up.
tell you.
Yeah.
I feel weird about it. Because there is like the shame factor, because like it kind of like people like you that think when you're in couples therapy, it's because like shit's hit the fan and like all this stuff. So it is weird to be like, oh my God, I'm in couples therapy. But she and I were both in individual therapy and we had a conversation and we're like, should we do this like once every 2 weeks or once a month just to like, if we have a thing or we need a mediator or just to like give us more tools and keep our tools sharpened. And I was pretty opposed to it at first. Because I think in my head, I was like, we don't need couples therapy.
Yeah.
We don't need that. Like, everything is going so great.
Yeah.
And I was just like, my God, I'm being a fucking idiot. Dude, I go to therapy for myself. Why would I not go for my relationship?
Also, I support that. I support couples therapy at this stage in your relationship. I do not support couples therapy when you're at the fucking end.
Yeah.
And you're trying to like, both of you are like done with the relationship and you're like, it's like a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessary.
Right.
I will fucking, I'm standing on that.
Yeah. And I'm going to say I don't care what you think.
I know that.
Yeah.
And neither should anybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, I was opposed to it at first, and then I was just like, oh, dude, I very much care about my partner. I very much care about our relationship. Why would I not make time every 2 weeks or once a month to like make sure the maintenance is going? And it's a fucking no-brainer.
Is it helping?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think there was anything wrong, but I mean, it's great. We just get like communication tools and styles, and like the therapist, she'll be like, well, Lou, you communicate this way, and I'm not going to say my girl's name. You communicate this way, and you know, with these communication styles, Lou, if you can phrase it this way, and she just like helps us learn how to communicate better. So yeah, it's useful. I don't know if it helps because I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a positive thing. I'm glad we're doing it.
It sounds like it's helping. From, you know.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of investing in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows when that's going to come up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were in it's interesting because when you were in Tucson, I had the place to myself, but I had like a pretty bad sinus infection, so it felt to me a lot like COVID lockdown. You know what I mean? Like I really didn't leave. I was here by myself. I was kind of isolated, and I remember feeling like I was wasting that time, because it's not often that I get the place to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to my therapist about this, and of course she's working on reframing. And she was like, well, you know, it's okay. You were sick, like you were laying around, like it's okay. You didn't waste that time. You needed that time to rest. I was like, I also really wasn't resting. I was writing a lot. I told you that. Like I was writing like 6 hours a day. Mm-hmm. But we were talking about
Suicide Note. Yeah. Yes. He's on chapter 60.
Chapter 60. And another thing. But it was, it got brought back around again about the value I put in things once they're done, but not in the value of things as I'm doing them.
Yeah.
Wrote 110 pages.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I look at it and I go, I didn't do anything last week. I didn't get anything done.
Right.
And it's like, no, you did.
Do you ever get annoyed with yourself?
All the fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many times do I have to learn this lesson?
Yeah. Well,
every time?
From this chair, every time. Yeah. It's usually 10 or 15 until something clicks with you.
Yeah, it's every fucking time. But yeah, that was what I was trying to do, was just trying to... And I have been doing a better job at reframing things. And I have been working on gratitude.
Yeah, I'd agree. You've been doing a really good job.
But yeah, I just was like trying to reframe that. And then we also talked about like why it mattered that I had the place to myself. Like what was the difference? Like, is there anything that I can't do while you guys are here?
Yep. You better fucking believe it. Follow daddy's rules and daddy's home.
Jesus
no,
Christ.
Of course not.
Yeah. But we got into the things that I do in, I don't, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm preparing myself for worst case scenario. So I will purposely keep my music really low, like lower than it needs to be.
When I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I won't, run the record player as much, or I won't do, just certain things like that where I'll make myself, what I was telling my therapist, how I described it, I make myself small around the house.
Yeah. Some might call it courteous. Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought I'm just being polite.
Yeah. It's
but
not that.
It's not. It's being polite to the extreme, because the phrasing that I used was that I don't want to bother you guys. I don't want to be bothersome. And And that's where it gets dangerous. That's why it's not polite. That's why it's not just me being polite. It's me making myself small and not doing things that make me happy or doing things that I want to do or need to do because I'm afraid I'm going to interrupt whatever you guys have going on.
I don't understand. So that sounds courteous to me.
Yes.
Because I do that. Like, I keep my volume lower. I'm still watching or listening to what I want.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I don't want it to go through the walls and, like, affect what he's doing.
Yeah. And I mean, common courtesy is that, where it's just like, I'm not going to blare this.
Right.
But what I'm saying is I won't do it at all.
Oh, instead of having the record player turned down, you just won't play a record.
I just won't play it.
Oh, well, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah. Because I'm afraid of getting in trouble.
Who got, man? You can't get in trouble with another grown man. What's wrong with you?
No, but that's it. Like, it's going beyond being polite and making myself small. And so she was saying that a way to get ahead of this is in these moments where I feel like, oh, they might be mad at me, then to just clear it with, like, just be vocal about it. So instead of either not playing music or playing it super, 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 super fucking low where I can barely hear it, just to make sure.
Yeah. Or wear headphones. But yeah.
Yeah. To bring it up to you and say, hey, I'm going to play some music. If it's too loud or something, just let me know and I'll turn it down.
Yeah. That's normal behavior.
Not to me, baby. That fucking, like, I'm like, you want me to do what?
So, yeah, and you also can't just, like, do what you want and trust that if it is too loud, we'll say something or I'll say something. And then, because if I say something, you're in trouble.
Absolutely. If you have to tell me, I fucked up. I fucked up and you're mad at me. And now I don't get to do that in the future, probably. Or I won't do that in the future. The fucking first time I play something, like let's just like, we'll keep on music, right? I'm playing music and you come in and you go, hey, can you turn that down a little bit? Oh, you better believe I'll never play that fucking again. You better believe I'll never turn that fucking record player on ever again.
It's good to know. That is good to know.
Because again, I will be so small, you won't even know I fucking exist.
Hey, when you don't make me lunch, it makes me angry. I'm so mad at you when you don't make me lunch every day.
You're such a piece of shit.
What? Be a good boy. Make daddy lunch.
Can't fucking stand you.
I didn't know you felt like that. That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Give you a guess where it comes from.
Mommy?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Childhood.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And which led us into feeling safe. Again, not feeling safe when I was a kid. And it keeps coming back to this. And for me, that's hard to understand because I felt safe as a kid. I can't wrap my head around it.
I think a lot of people, when people talk about feeling unsafe as a child, they think it comes into some sort of abuse.
That's where it leads. I think it's either physical or sexual abuse. And if those things aren't checked off, then I had a great childhood.
I'm safe.
Then, yeah, I'm safe. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't think of the emotional damage. I don't think of those people-pleasing things being passed down to me. I don't think of that as abuse.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to the nervous system, what you're always talking about. Yeah. And hey, man, I'm just learning that I have anxiety. I'm a super chill, laid-back dude.
Yeah.
So
48 episodes in.
Yeah.
He's almost, as we're talking about, learned the lesson. Just about 48 weeks on this one.
Just almost. But yeah, my nervous system was just wrecked as a kid all the time because of the not wanting to upset anybody and not speaking up for my needs and all that shit.
Yeah.
So
because we didn't want to disappoint mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my nervous system is just fucking wrecked. And I don't think about that. And she brought that up about, like, imagine what you're doing to your body every day, worrying about, like, is this music too loud? Or if I go in there and like run the ice machine right now. Is that going to fuck with them? Or like whatever it is that I'm in my head about. Like, it's not just a thought that I'm having. That is my nervous system getting rocked, being like, oh no, we're going to get, yelled at or in trouble, or they're going to be mad. Like, that goes through my body, and I don't think about that. I don't connect that.
Is there any situations where your nervous system doesn't? Like, you could be doing something and it could be loud. Maybe you have somebody over and it's real loud. In those moments, are you like, God, I hope I'm not bothering them? Or is it because you're...
No, in those moments, pride takes over.
Yeah.
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 In those moments, I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
You hear that?
So when there's validation on the line, the nervous system is like, oh, no, give me my treat.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's when the
sense.
dopamine kicks in.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, man, I love dopamine.
But yeah, so it comes back around to getting ahead of things and just being more vocal about my needs and saying like, hey, I'm going to do this. If it's bothering you, then I'll change it. Man, that's so hard to speak.
Or even if it's bothering you, then we can talk about it. Like, I feel like if it's bothering you, I'll change it is even like,
yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, you got it. Like, yeah, we can just have a conversation about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you just go right now?
The anxiety that leads to, like, of course I'm going to change it because like, if I don't change it, you're going to be upset with me and I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I need
Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Do you not have anxiety? Like if I came to you and said, hey man, that's too fucking loud.
If you came to me like that,
like that, yeah, I guess that is. But in my head, that's how it sounds, no matter what.
Right.
Somebody was like, "Please turn it down." I'd be like, "Then he came in and said that's too fucking loud."
Right. Yeah. I know that's what you would hear.
Yeah.
If you came and knocked on the door and was like, "Hey, would you mind turning it down a little bit? I can hear it through the wall." I'd be like, "Oh shit, yeah, of course."
And you'd never think twice about it.
No.
Wow.
In the future, like I would be like. What I would do is I would take note of what the volume was at, what I changed it to, and I'd be like, okay, this is now the operating level, like at night or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would just kind of make a note of the range, but yeah, I wouldn't be afraid you're gonna come back. Yeah, come back again. I'll turn it down a couple more clicks for you. What do I give a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. If you came and said, "Hey, that's too fucking loud," I'd be like, oh, really? Good to know. Well, and that's your fucking opinion, isn't it? And then we're in a thing.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, if you just, hey, would you mind turning that down? I can hear it through the wall. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. Everybody is.
I'll never do that.
Why? You should do that.
Now you're gonna test me. You're gonna be blaring something. Be like, I wonder if he's
Buddy.
gonna come in here. I'm like, nope.
Oh my God. The volume at which you're going to hear The Office until you come in there. I'm not going to sleep teaching you this lesson.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, I've spent my life making myself small. And in a lot of scenarios, it's more than just like I don't want to bother anybody. It gets to the extreme where like I don't even want to be considered. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing a better job of it now, like speaking up with things where I'm like, okay, I don't like that, or I don't want to go there, or like things like that.
Yeah.
But for the majority of my life, nah, man, you're not going to hear anything out of me. Hey, we're going to go to this fucking sushi place. You got it.
You just
I don't eat sushi.
Yeah.
I won't eat. I'll have a Diet Coke and a smile and sit there. And I'll hit McDonald's on the way home or whatever the fuck. But like, I'll go. Instead of saying, yeah, I don't really fuck with sushi. I'll go.
What if instead of saying, I don't really fuck with sushi, be like, I can't eat sushi?
Then I'm interrupting everybody's evening or somebody's evening, and I don't want to impede on that. So I would rather not even be considered because I don't want to mess up anybody's thing they got going on. You want sushi? Let's go. Now I am doing a better job of it now, where I am saying, I don't fuck with sushi, and if the follow up is like, I'm like, yeah, I can't have it.
Yeah.
I am doing a way better job of that now.
I hate to harp on this. Why is it I don't fuck with sushi and not I can't have sushi? Because to me, when you say I don't fuck with it, it means I don't like it, which isn't the case.
Because I can't have it feels shameful.
You feel ashamed that you can't eat sushi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's the same feeling I get when I tell people I don't drink. I've spent my whole life telling people I don't drink, and they just want a fucking reason. And it's like, I just don't. And so I'm just not interested in it. And so when
the conversation?
Yeah, when I tell people no, sometimes I feel shame. I'm letting them down.
Because your stomach cannot handle raw fish.
Right.
You're letting them down.
I can't have raw meat. So I'm letting you down because I know that you really want sushi. I physically can't have it.
So let me ask you this. How do you know they really want sushi? Because what I'll tell you, sushi is a pretty go-to meal for a group because most people like sushi.
Yeah.
It's not that everybody has a hankering for sushi. It's usually a safe bet.
So when sushi comes up,
yeah,
it usually comes up as, ooh, sushi. Like it's one of those.
Yeah, you're hanging out with white people.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those foods.
Say Jamba Juice. They'll come and
where people get excited. It's a very excitable food.
Yeah, I do love sushi.
And so I feel like I feel shame because I can't have it or I don't want it, and
interesting.
And it's letting people down. So I would rather make myself small or not even be considered at all.
What about just not going? Is that an option?
Oh God, that's a whole nother.
They're like, hey, we're gonna go to sushi, and you go, no, thanks, I'm good. That's not an option,
buddy. And then it depends on who it is because people just don't let up. What? Sometimes people are like, come on, it'll be fun, come on, and you got to deal with that whole bullshit. I don't like that. I'll just go.
You want to know why?
Why?
It's because you don't say no.
Yeah, I know.
No. Oh, still talking. You don't say no. You do the thing of like, yeah, maybe. Let me think about it, and then you come back and say no, and then they think because they think you've been on the fence all day, so they're trying to sway you. If you write about it, go, nah, no thanks. You ain't gonna get none of that. Your politeness, is kicking you around again later. Is what's happening, I think.
Yeah, but I feel so rude saying no.
That's not rude. When I say no to you, do you feel like I'm being rude?
Yeah, sometimes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why? Earlier today, you're like, hey, you want to go for a hike? And I go, no. That was rude?
Well, no, because I know you're not going to do that. But if it was something sometimes I really want you to go somewhere with me or something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to run over here and like, you want to go? And you're like, no. And you say
rude?
it so quick and it's the tone and the timing. Tone and timing.
Is it tone and timing, or is it that you want me to go and you're disappointed that I said no? So it feels more personal.
It probably is some of that. It's probably 50-50. It's probably like, oh, I really would like him to go.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I think we've talked about this before. It doesn't even feel like you consider it. You just straight up go, nah.
Yeah, dude, I'm like,
oh, okay.
But it's not about you. It's because I don't feel like going anywhere.
Yes, but it doesn't always feel that way. And so that's where it comes off rude, is that it doesn't feel like, and that's why I play more towards the let me see if I can do that.
Yeah.
Because that feels like I'm at least considering what you're asking me.
So how about when I invite you somewhere and you do that and I go, buddy, just say no.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, okay, no. What does that do for you?
Frees me. I love that. I love that you allow me to just say
But I'm like,
no.
hey, just say no. You're not going to go. We know that. Just say no.
Yeah. I love that.
Interesting.
I wish I could just say no. And I I feel like I've been slowly saying no more.
Okay.
Slowly.
Not to me. Who are you saying no to? Besides yourself.
I say I say no to you sometimes.
Not when I tell you to say no.
Well, I know.
I go, buddy, just say no. You don't want to do this. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you have been, and I'm not giving you enough credit.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm working on. I need to work on speaking up for my needs more.
Mm-hmm. Just don't be annoying.
And not make myself small.
Yeah.
So I'm about to be real loud in this motherfucker. Just do whatever I want.
I got no problem telling you to shut the fuck up. At all.
And I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That would help me a lot.
You know what? I'll do it willingly.
You've already, you know what? You've already started.
Yeah. Yeah.
You started years ago.
Yeah.
I appreciate
About a decade ago with you.
Oh, God. The final thing that we talked about. You're gonna fucking run all over me with this.
Oh, I can't wait.
Talked about dreams.
Dreams.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Sleep dreams or like aspiration dreams?
Sleep dreams.
Okay. You having dreams? What happened?
She was asking me if I had any visitors lately.
Uh-huh.
And I have.
Hmm.
In the last few weeks, Grandma keeps popping up in my dreams. And it's always this feeling that I have when I'm sleeping that, like, I need to call her. I need to catch up with her.
Mm.
It always just feels like, oh, I haven't called her in a while. I need to talk to Grandma. And so, you're going to love this. My therapist again told me to start dreaming with intent.
You know what? No offense to your therapist. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
I knew you'd fucking...
Jesus
I knew
Christ.
you'd hate that.
What are we doing?
She said to prepare myself before I go to bed by just talking out loud, kind of like to the universe about like, okay, I want to talk to Grandma. Like, if you want to talk to me, like, come see me tonight. Like, I miss you. I want to have conversations. I want to hear from you. Like, it's almost like you have to like invite a vampire into your house kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you have to invite these people into your dreams for conversations about like, okay, I would like to see you.
Yeah. You do it?
I haven't done it yet. I'm also supposed to start a journal and start keeping track of my dreams when I wake up, and so I can have detailed ideas of like what exactly happened, what they said, if they've come to visit, like all these things. So I need to start a dream journal as well, because I am somebody who has very vivid dreams.
Yeah. Every time I wake up from a dream, I know I should write it down, and then I'm like, I'll remember it. Have not remembered a dream my entire life.
No, I mean once, but
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm supposed to be dream journaling.
I got a couple of empty journals. You want one?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, I'll hook you up with a journal.
Yeah, I need to put it by my bedside like it's the fucking 1920s and
nice.
Be by candlelight. In my dreams last night.
What do you want to talk to Grandma about?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. What the fuck? What do you mean you don't know? If she was here right now, what'd you say, dipshit?
Oh, God. All kinds of things.
Oh,
man.
there it is. What do you want to talk to Grandma about? You fuck?
Oh, man.
Tell the bear cubs.
You know, she passed during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Her and I had many conversations about when I could visit her and see her again during that time. Mm-hmm. She spent the last year of her life locked away in a nursing home, just like not allowed to mingle with anybody, not allowed to. So she just sat in her room.
Yeah, a lot of people
for a year.
A lot of elderly people had a real rough
Yeah.
last year. Yeah, it's really, really heartbreaking to think about.
But I would call her a lot, and we would talk, and one of the few times she called me, because my grandma would never call me because she didn't want to bother me. Who does that sound like? Fuck.
You just realize that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't doing great. Spoiler alert. And I kind of had a breakdown on the phone with my aunt one afternoon. That also didn't go great. The next day, my grandmother called me, who barely had a voice because she was sick. She was in a nursing home, actively dying, can barely talk, and called to cheer me up because my aunt told her that I was not in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
And so we joked around and had a great time. And I was waiting to get the vaccine to go see her. She knew that. And she got the vaccine before I did. And I had, this is like the original, the OG. So it was like you had to do the 2 doses. And so I got
a week apart or whatever.
Yeah, I got one. And then before I could get the next one, she passed.
Mm.
And I did not go home for the funeral.
Yeah.
Because I was still not vaxxed all the way. I was going back to a town that really didn't believe in the ramifications of COVID.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Ohio.
Yeah. I was going to be around a family who didn't really believe in the ramifications of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there'd be a lot of hugging and crying and closeness and all of that, and I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
And that caused a lot of drama with the family that was still around and friends back home and everything, because my grandmother was like a second mother to me.
Yeah.
So a few days after Grandma passed, I went on this big hike up this mountain, and I just talked to her. Just the whole hike about how sorry I was that I didn't go to the funeral, that I wasn't going home for the funeral because it hadn't happened yet. How much I missed her, how much I loved her, how much I regret that I didn't get to see her before she passed, and that it just didn't work out, and how she spent the last year of her life, and just really just spilling all my feelings. But I haven't really talked to her since then.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're asking me, like, well, what would you say to her? It's so much. It's so fucking much. We would talk so often. Especially after Mom passed. It was just, she carried so much guilt with her about Mom. She was there the night that Mom passed.
Mm-hmm.
And that would come up every time we talked.
Your mom passed away?
Yeah. Every single time we would talk, she would bring up not being able to help Mom.
Yeah.
That was her fault.
So, yeah, dude, can you imagine that? Like, outliving your kids has got to be
2 of them.
Yeah.
2 out of the 3.
Yeah. And one passed away right next door.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Kind of on, well, what she thought was like on her watch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe it's not a big answer. Maybe the answer is, what would you say to Grandma? Maybe the answer is just forgive her. Just let her know that she's forgiven. Try to give her peace of mind. I tried that when she was alive, but maybe
who does she think? Who does she think she's indebted to?
Mom.
Mm.
She thinks she let mom down. And I think just in correlation, probably me.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So,
well, next time you go to sleep, do it on purpose or something. What are you supposed to do? Sleep on purpose?
Sleep on purpose.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The fuck does that even mean? I still don't get it.